Welcome to the Blue Oasis Podcast. This is the podcast for finding peace and prosperity, learning the history of hobbies, as well as developing a little side hustle. If you want to find peace and prosperity in your life, this is your show. Get ready. You're listening to the Blue Oasis Podcast. I am your host, Adam Rothstein. All right, let's get to the show. And welcome back to the Blue Oasis Podcast. With me today is Franky Corcoran. Franky, how are you?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on, Adam.
All right. So first question, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a actor, a podcast host, host of the Corcoran Entertainment Show, the sign behind me. And I've been hosting that since January 2022. Corcoran Entertainment, the Entertainment part of the podcast name comes from my theater company that I started back in 2021, which is Corcoran Entertainment, and it's I started it back during COVID. It was kind of a way to, I've always been into theater and stuff, and starting my own theater thing. It not only got me excited for what was to come after COVID, but it also is just my way of enhancing the arts in my community and doing what I love to do. And so it's really grown into something, and I'm really happy to see where it has come, how far it's come as well. And it's been a lot of fun, and I wouldn't be talking to you if had I not gone through with it. And so it's really so yeah, that's the long answer of who I am.
Well, taking the plunge is always a good thing. So tell me a little what goes into the production of a play slash musical, because I'm not the biggest player musical guy. I'm more of a sports guy, but what goes into the production of a play slash musical?
A lot of things go into it, especially when you're I not only direct the plays and occasionally act on my own, but I also am involved with the producing side of things too. So pick the right play. That's really the first thing too, is to make sure that you got a great cast. And it's also good to know who's around as well too. You got uh you know we have a great community here of actors and stuff here in Miramichi, and so it's good to keep in mind who's around, what is a good play to do. Um, and so basically, like the one that I'm doing in November, which is called Fractured Festivities, it's one I wrote. I kind of wrote it knowing who's around in the community, who is into acting and things like that, and who have acted with me in the past before. And so you make sure that you got the right script, right actors, all that stuff. And then basically what goes into that next is reach out to them, get them on board, and then the process starts from there. Really, it kind of it there's not really one thing that comes before the other. It's kind of just one of those things that jump into rehearsals, and then while you're doing those, you're also working things out with venues, and you're working things out with canteen sales and ticket sales, and making sure that you got your equipment. So there's a lot of things that go into it. Probably the hardest types of plays to do are musicals. I've only done two in my time doing this. The rest have just been straight plays, comedies, and dramas and things like that. We did a Christmas Carol last year for our Christmas play last year, which was a great success. And so yeah, that's kind of the process. There's not really one thing that kind of comes ahead of the other. It's kind of a little mixture of things. So, but that's kind of the brief rundown. And having a good crew helps. Having a great team with you. They really take the pressure off you when you know that you have people that you can trust. And so yeah, that's pretty much what goes into it.
When it comes to the music side, it there's always that issue of timing, and I've done this before with clients on audiobooks and stuff like that, and you have to just time it just right. So with the music and stuff. So have you ever had any issues with the music or anything else, even though you've only done two musicals before?
No, well, I mean, especially for my first one, I started off small, and so like the first one I did was a three-person musical, Tick Tick Boom, which was from the creator of Rent. There's also a movie for it on Netflix with Andrew Garfield. I performed and staged the stage version of it, which was just three actors singing, and then the ensemble comes in here and there for some stuff. And so really the only thing was just, making sure that, I pulled the best people for it in terms of, making sure the sound and all that stuff like that sounded great. And working with mics and wireless headsets and things like that. There's a lot of different technicalities that go into it as well. So, um, kind of a little mixture of everything really that kind of goes into it, and it's one of those things that uh you know there's things that you would know went wrong but the audience wouldn't know, like if really kind of the only tough things that came with it, or like the biggest challenge was, as I said, was with the equipment. I've never done a musical before. All the other plays, we've just relied on the actors' projections. We've never had to worry about mics and things like that. So I'm always picky on, okay, like turn this one down, turn that one down. Okay, mute him, mute him. Oh crap, I forgot to unmute him. So like it was a lot of things like that that, we ended up just kind of going, um, pushing through. And so yeah, that's I'd say the only real challenge that came with the musicals. And would I want to do a big one down the road like a Rent or Mamma Mia or something like that? Maybe down the line. But definitely, start with where I am right now. Do the odd musical here and there, but so yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that kind of works.
Ticket pricing. I did want to ask about that. Um, how does that compare to something like sports? And is it cheap to go to, or is it more of on the expensive side, like $30, or is it lower, like on the $10 side sometimes?
It depends on the show. Now, if you're doing a very, very well-known show, such as I mentioned, a Mamma Mia, or a another popular musical is say Grease or something like that, then yeah, it's really expensive to buy those rights because they not only factor in the rights to the play itself, but then each of the songs are their own thing as well too. So you got to license those. It's a whole thing, and get the royalties and pay for all those. So if you're doing one like that, then to charge a little bit more is reasonable. Like you're getting a full blown musical with big lights and lots of performers and things like that, and a well known musical at that too. So it really depends on what the show is. I mean, if it's a one act play, then it's not unreasonable to lower the prices for that. So really it's just what goes into it. How much do we need to break even? How much do we expect? You kind of got to factor those things in like that. So there's a lot of different things, but I would say it really just depends on what show it is you're doing or what type of show.
You've acted before in plays.
Yep, I have. Yep.
All right. What was the one play that you enjoyed the most acting in?
Probably The Odd Couple. When we did The Odd Couple, this wasn't one I produced. This was before I started my own thing. I did one with a group around here called CM Productions, which I still act in as well too. And so I played Felix Unger, who of course is the neurotic one in The Odd Couple. That was so much fun because it was the first play I did where it was a character that was fairly well known amongst the audiences. Like they all knew of the Odd Couple, they all knew Felix. So it was one of those things that it was fun to just be somebody who people know. Like it be kind of the same deal as if you were for example, you're playing Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. You know, like that's a big. Not many people can say that they played Dorothy on The Wizard of Oz. I still hope to someday. But you know, so I'd say that was probably the best. And then the audience reaction was great. They really they really make you better. The audience helps you. The audience fuels you. The audience really they're what keep you going. So and getting their responses to that was a lot of fun. So I'd say The Odd Couple probably.
Yeah. And that last part you mentioned, the audience just giving you that hope or giving you that momentum. I mean, same thing in sports. Absolutely. You can, it is what can drive you forward. So writing process. I didn't ask specifically about that. When you're coming up with a new original idea, the writing process, how do you construct it? Are you more scatterbrained or do you go in a more linear direction when writing?
It's kind of scatterbrained. Uh, it's kind of funny. A lot of my answers on the show have been it depends on the play. A lot of them is sometimes it's scatterbrained. If it's one that's kind of grounded in reality, one that's like set in my hometown and things like that, that one's kind of easy. Just, go start with the characters and then go with the plot and this and that. So that right there is fairly straightforward. But if I'm doing one that's like beyond something that I've experienced in real life, like I've done a murder mystery before too, that I wrote. So I was scatterbrained on that, doing the different. There was so much that went into that, and so yeah, really just depends on the type of show it is. Is it something that I've dealt with personally? Is it something that um, uh, that is something that's beyond what I've ever done, such as a murder mystery set in a different country type of thing. So the writing process can change throughout, each play you do, depending on what it is and what you're writing.
Okay. Okay. Got that there. How do you practice? Or how does rehearsal go, and how many times do you need to rehearsal to make sure that you're up to snuff, you're up to par, and you're ready to go for the big finale, the big show?
We normally do. I stick to two a week. Luckily, the one we're doing now, there's only five people in the cast. We started rehearsals last month, and we still have the show's not opening until November 14th. And so we normally do two a week. As we get closer, we like to tack on a couple extras. Like maybe we'll go instead of two a week, we'll tack on a third one. But and it also kind of depends on where we are too. You know, if it's we're getting pretty close to it and people are still kind of still trying to learn their lines, it's like, okay, we need to do more, but for the most part, everybody has become really, really good at being on top of it, knowing their lines in time. And so, yeah, normally I stick to twice a week, but it could change depending on how the process is going.
How many weeks out do you start preparing for?
This one here, we had a table read in August, like last week of August, just to get their scripts out, and then given the show this one here is very dialogue focused. We want to make sure that they got lots of time to not just learn the lines but also to block it out and make it the best it can be. So I normally try to go 2 months. If it's a bigger show, then I go with maybe 3 months. Really just depends on what it is we're doing. If it's a musical, we'll start way earlier, just to make sure it's all we got our ducks in a row. um but yeah, we kind of map it out, changes each time. We kind of just go with the flow type thing.
Okay, go with the flow. Um, so we had the ticket pricing, uh, all that. So even with all that, what is, yeah, so Are you in the Newfoundland by any chance? Just
N-
curious.
I'm in New Brunswick.
Oh, New Brunswick. Oh,
Yeah,
in Canada.
in Canada. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, now I hear that about accent.
About, yeah, that's
Okay.
me.
All right. Have you ever done a play in French?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I'm not good with French. I mean, like I could bring people on and maybe produce something, but in terms of acting and directing, I'd probably have to get someone on who's is more fluent in that.
Do you stay more in a local area or do you travel across the country or into the United States?
No, I stay local. I stay local. Yeah.
You stay local. Have you ever thought about going to a different market?
I mean, I thought about it. The thought has always crossed my mind, but I mean, like I become very content where I am. We got a good following. We got great people. So while the thought has crossed my mind, ultimately I never ended up going with it too. Plus families here and everything too, and that they always come more than anything, really. Family's everything to me.
So, with all the writing process and stuff, have you ever produced a book out of anything?
No, I've started writing a book though. It's basically it's a without giving too much away. It's a prequel to one of the main characters of my play, a play I did a few years ago. Basically, just because when I wrote it, I realized there was so much more to him, and I'm like, this would make a great for a great play or a great whatever the case may be. And so I started jotting down ideas, and I've started working on a book trilogy for it. And it's obviously, thankfully, it's a trilogy, so it's not like you have to see the play in order to understand it. You can just watch it and then go, oh, hey, there's a play for it too. So yeah, I started doing that. Won't give too much details about it, but that's in the works.
Okay. Oh, okay. Um, what would you say to the high schooler or the middle schooler coming up and wanting to get started? What would you tell him or her?
Just go for it. Go for it. Go in small. If you haven't done any acting before, don't expect to get a big role immediately. Just keep on coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back, and eventually if you work hard enough, you build up your skills as an actor, you'll get the parts you want. It might take time, it might not come immediately, but just go into it not looking for that. Just go into it wanting to act and have fun and being part of something big, and be a part of something really special because that's what the whole theater process is. It's very special.
I've done voice acting jobs. I've narrated about six or seven audiobooks and like just stood up in my bedroom and had a bunch of things going for me and just reading lines and even the nonfiction stuff certainly can produce your vocal cord and help you out. So, would you recommend just reading aloud books or stuff, or just the more recreational stuff that people read aloud to actually help an actor get used to reading aloud or just speaking aloud on stage?
I think both. I think you can do both. Some people it works differently. Like same deal with like line techniques and stuff, like learning lines. People learn it in different ways. So it really just depends on what your how your process is, how you learn. It really depends really on a multitude of things. What you're comfortable with, what your workload is like, what you're able to handle. Um, so yeah, that's what I would say. It's a different for everybody.
Yeah. Now I do want to tell one experience though. I mean, just when you're reading out loud, even like 300 words, and you're doing it for the first time, you are going to make mistakes too. Like, I will definitely. attest to that, just reading like a 15-minute audiobook. And I had to retake stuff. And you also have to pace yourself properly too. I mean, and that's how I got it done. That's how I produced growing baseball too, which was probably one of my fun things to produce. But just reading things aloud, whether they're fiction or nonfiction, is certainly one of you know is certainly an excellent skill to have. Vocal range, I do want to mention about that. You see, um, Tara Strong is probably the prime example of this. How do you work with one of your crew members to get into character and just provide a vocal range?
I would say vocal warm-ups, physical warm-ups, similar to whenever you're out before gym class, we'd always do the big warm-ups and jumping jacks and this and that, just to kind of get the bones, all nice and limber and this and that. Same goes with the vocal cords, like, and like, the say your vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Like there's lots of different techniques to um get you started. So then that way you're not walking on stage and just going like you're covered in phlegm, or your throat's covered in phlegm. And yeah, just make sure that lots of water is a big thing too. Stay hydrated. You can't go on with a dry throat because, that doesn't sound good, especially if you're screaming or you're singing or whatever the case may be. Just make sure proper vocal techniques, vocal skills, warm-ups, that'll go a long way. It really, really will. And some might say it sounds kind of silly or why do I need to do this? Trust me, it'll help. And you'll definitely be sure to instill that in others as well too.
I also noticed that my diet certainly affects that when I'm recording a new audiobook or something like that. Um, I found this Skillshare video that said, keep a good diet, salads, green tea, specifically not coffee. If you need caffeine, go for green tea. Salads, avoid the cheese. So basically, meat and greens, and then green tea, and then some water before you get into the booth. And the green tea, helps clear the sinuses out and all that. And just like you said, no phlegm. Um, and then you have a higher vocal range, or it'll help you get to that higher vocal range. That's what I've noticed before.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's good. Yeah, green tea. That's a good one. Like you don't want to be it'd be kind of like it'd be like going to McDonald's before running a marathon. It's like, "Oh, why did you do that?" You know what I mean? Like yeah, you were all set for it and then you went and had McDonald's and now you're like, "Oh, I can't run," Like it's or like a big unhealthy meal. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Self-care is important too. Make sure you're not overdoing it. Um, that's the important thing. That really is the important thing is to make sure that not just your voice is good and that your body's good for the show and this and that, but make sure that you're healthy too, because otherwise, if you're not healthy, there'll be no show, period. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Mental question: how does someone deal with stage fright or just nervous tensions? Did you have to how did you deal with that? Or did you ever have any nervous tension before your first play?
I never did know. Well, because I started off with smaller parts, so I kind of just gradually worked my way up to it. So doing smaller parts, you're just on stage, in the background for a lot of it. So you're kind of just able to take it in and then prepare yourself, and then you can slowly build yourself up. To me, um, there wasn't really any, tension or nervousness. It kind of just came with, it kind of just came gradually over time, just getting confident. Because I mean, even my first time on stage, I don't think I was nervous. I think I was just, like, oh wow, I'm on stage, So it will really you know it's nice to prepare yourself, start small and work your way up, which is, as I mentioned to anybody who might be wanting to join, start small, especially, if you have stage fright, build yourself up to it. Don't just throw yourself into it without any preparation.
Have you ever had an actor who was, so nervous or was nervous and had a lot of tension?
A couple times. But luckily it just kind of fizzled out slowly. Like yeah, they were nervous. They're like, I don't know how this is gonna go, and you kind of just give them a motivational talk and just say like, don't worry, this is it's all gonna go good. You know the show, because that's it. They know the show. They're just worried about forgetting something, which that's normal. But just saying, keep in mind if it happens or something happens and you forget it, they won't know. The rest of the cast, they know the script too. They'll steer you in the right direction. Your character's supposed to ask for a bottle of wine, and there's a silence, and you're not saying the line, and then someone will go, "Would you like a bottle of wine?" Like you have someone to cover for you in that situation. So, nothing too major. Thankfully, everybody who I do shows with, they know what they're getting into, and they're already used to it. So,
I forgot a very important piece of plays slash musicals, the lighting.
yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, how does that go? Are people walking around a balcony, or is some of the controls done remotely?
Some of the ones, a majority of the ones I do, they're all backstage or in a booth across from the stage. It's good to have a technical director who is just able to take care of all of that while you just gotta make sure that everything else is straight. So you have the technical directors working on the lighting and sound, and then you're able to then go backstage and make sure that everything's good, and then you're able to come back out, make sure the tech's good, make sure that everything in the lobby is good. So it is a process. It certainly is, but if you know what you're doing, and you have a good team, it really comes naturally.
Um, all right, have you performed in a hockey arena or just has it been have you performed in facilities where it's specific for musicals and plays?
No, no arenas, just venues specifically for plays. Yeah.
I've seen some arenas at hockey arenas actually have plays and you would think that's not conducive to the sound or anything. It's so so just question, it's always just probably better to just keep it in a facility or a playhouse that a playhouse. What's the term again? I'm sorry.
A venue or a theater?
That a venue that's proper for a musical or a play.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like some of the ones I did my shows at, it used to be an old town hall. So it wasn't technically built to be a theater for musicals and this and that. It was built for just town hall meetings. So you kind of have to adjust to it. And I'm sure that there's lots of others. Like we had one here. Unfortunately, it burned down about 5 years ago. That used to be an old movie theater. So the stage was nice, but there was no backstage. It was just two closets. And that's because the building wasn't meant to be a live theater. It was built to be a movie theater, just big projector screen, nothing in behind. And then all of a sudden, yeah, they turned it to a live theater. So then they had to talk about how do we make this better for people backstage who are, we're not stuck in a closet or a broom closet.
Of course. Moving settings. I did have to talk about settings, like nighttime settings, daytime settings, and people pulling the ropes. So you definitely cue them in on when to go, when to pull down, all that stuff, and how. And do you have a sheet? You have your script with you on when the curtain drops and when it raises and when you put in the backgrounds to keep you
Yep, that's
focused.
right. Yeah, they all have their scripts backstage and they're able to, and everyone has their own copy so they can make their own notes. The actors have their own. So backstage, if they're like, I can't remember that line that's coming up, they can go back and look during the show. The tech people will have theirs backstage because they need to know for their cues. Everyone will have a script as long as it's not on stage, you know?
And sometimes, a single note, a musical, like one note of music can make all the difference.
It really can. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it can.
Yeah. Um, wow. Um, okay. Wow, we really we're flying by in just about like 30 minutes. Anything else you want to bring up, talk about?
Nothing that comes to mind anyway. Yeah, I'm kind of good with the flow.
Okay.
A go with the flow type guy.
Yeah. I did have one more question. How can plays/musicals promote peace and prosperity?
With the subject matter, I think. If you have a play that's just about, centered around villains and bad people, that's not really much about peace, you know? So I'd say just make sure that you pick the right play if you want to instill a good message about peace and prosperity. Maybe there's a play for that, peace and prosperity. I wonder. Um, might be out there somewhere, maybe, or somebody will probably write it, maybe. But yeah, just make sure that to properly promote things. If you want to promote like mental health, do a play that deals with those types of themes. If you want to promote uh wellness, do a play about wellness. So just make sure you want to do a play about peace and prosperity, do a play that centers around peace and prosperity.
Um, okay, but what about community and actually just giving people hope, in that sense?
Um Community, you mean like what do you mean by that?
Oh, okay. All right. People in the town come in to watch your play, and then it just brings a sense of community, thus promoting peace and prosperity. Something like that.
Oh,
So
okay, gotcha,
th
gotcha.
that's
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to get to the root of.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense actually. Something that brings people together. Okay, yeah, no. That's a good way. I never put it that way before, but that's actually really good, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Did you have anything to follow up with that specific question, or do you?
No, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head actually. I think that's actually perfect. Yeah, that, community doing something that brings people together will also bring peace and prosperity, you know?
And in this day and age, I mean, we are all a lot online. I'm doing this right now, talking to you, and and even though I play hockey, oddly enough, I mean, you still can get trapped in, you can still spend too much time online, which it's a lot.
Yeah, it takes a lot out of you, yeah.
So always be sure to get out there and do your thing and just get off the internet because back in the day when you were like, when I was a child, I don't know when were you born?
1999.
90. Wow. Wow, I'm 94.
94. Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, and I feel old, man. Like
It's
I
going
feel old
by.
even
Time's
though I'm
flying right
31.
by.
What?
Time's flying right by, man. It's just passing us by.
You were in college back during the Corona era. Three years out. I was 3 years out of college back then. Um, yeah, so like I was saying, absolutely get off the internet, do everything of the sort. And the back in like 2001, I was 7 years old, and I mean, like, I still remember the dial-up connections too. I mean, it was also a lot to just to get online and everything, but now I think it's more important to get offline and to just be a part of a community. And you really do, and you are building something in the process of just an actual play, and thus it's team building. You're stacking things up on top, figuratively and literally. Um, and it just is something that does promote good mental health. All right. Anything you want to promote before I close the show out?
You guys can listen to my podcast, the Corcoran Entertainment Show, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, everywhere you listen to your podcast, YouTube, and all that. New episodes are out every week, normally Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can follow us for all of our updates on shows and podcasts and stuff at Corcoran Entertainment on Instagram and Corcoran Entertainment on Facebook. And I also have a Twitter account that isn't really connected to Corcoran Entertainment, but it's just my own Twitter account that I just post stuff on. So that's at Franky Corcoran. And thank you for having me on, Adam. I really appreciate it, man. And
You're
you're doing a great job at what you do.
thank you very much. Okay, and promotions. If you are interested in audiobooks, I have Growing Baseball, I've got Growing Hockey, I've got an audiobook on MLB stadiums. I have Determination, um, the audiobook Determination, and I have Chess, the Game for Peace and Prosperity. All of those are available on Chirp Books or wherever you get your audiobooks. That is also on Spotify too. Yeah, Spotify has audiobooks. If you didn't know that, Frankie, they do.
Yeah, they do actually. Yeah.
Yeah, they have it, but Chirp has been treating me right with everything that I'm doing. So that's the best way to support me. And please subscribe on Substack so you can get the email alert when this episode goes out. All right, anything else before I end this segment?
No, so far so good. Just thank
All
you guys for listening, and yeah, peace and prosperity.
right, peace out, everyone. Bye.